other than Jen. Okay, great. Recording has started. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to March. It's March Coffee and Conversation. Glad to have everybody here today. Couple things we're going to be talking about. After the last couple of webinars, we've talked a lot about competitors and what we're saying about competitors and how do we defend against competitors when we talk about our price and our value. So Jen Burnham put together a fantastic presentation this morning about value proposition and value positioning. That I think we'd love to have some dialogue around and get everybody's thoughts on that. But we're also going to check in on the Q1 promo. So this is the last month of the Q1 promo with the buy two, get third 50% off. And then we're going to throw it over to Tim. He's going to unveil the Q2 marketing preview, that promo, and we'll wrap it up with the quotas, daylight, and housekeeping. So with that, I'm going to throw it over to Jen Burnham.
Good deal. So thank you. This is going to be a little bit different maybe than some of our other coffee and conversations. I don't have a ton of dialogue and bullet points on the slides. Really hoping for this to be much more conversational. We've done so many good ones in the past with a lot of people jumping in. So do feel free to unmute yourselves if you want to say something, throw it in the chat. So John is going to kind of help monitor the chat a little bit. Use your reaction buttons, questions, things like that. So if you're listening in, like Ron versus being on the webinar, you're not missing a ton on the slides themselves. But anyway, so just like Carrie said, over the past couple webinars and our conversations that John and I have with you guys, we've been hearing, some recurring concerns. Competition's heating up. There's pressure to offer deep discounts just to stay in the game. There's some uncertainty about being able to raise our prices, and then just kind of frustration when customers choose a lower price competitor when we know that that's the wrong decision. So we totally hear you. And that's why we want to kind of brainstorm and work together today to work toward a plan to tackle these challenges, basically. I've been a sales manager for a long time, and whenever I hear these types of challenges, my first instinct is to go, check in on what people are saying, about our products, about our service. What's the overall consumer sentiment, about Solatube and our premier dealers? So I'm not in the field every day, obviously, bit removed from direct customer interactions. So I did the next best thing. I asked ChatGPT, what do you know about Solatube and Velux daylighting products? So not sure if y'all have done this recently or not. Super fun exercise, but it basically generated a giant 6-page report with bullet points, talking points, and the reasoning behind giving us this overall score. So it talked about light capture and performance, talked about our ray bender and our light tracker, talked about the tubing quality, the Spectralite, talked about heat and UV protection, installation and flexibility, and how it even went into longer tube runs and angles and why we were better, fit for that. At the end of the 6 pages, it spit out this graph. So this is literally just cut and pasted from the ChatGPT page. And you can see the final analysis at the bottom. Choose Solatube if you want maximum brightness, energy efficiency, better performance in low light conditions, and easier installation. And choose Velux if you're looking for a more budget-friendly option. Your installation is straightforward without many bends or long distances. So it's out there. Why the frustration? Why the worry over pricing and competition? Again, going back to my experience, when sales dip and pricing kind of becomes a hot topic, it means that our unique value proposition and our positioning statements can use some love and attention. Not that they're bad or off, just maybe a little bit of tweaking here or there. So that's what I want to talk about today. And again, hoping it's going to be a conversation. Would love to get some great dialogue. You guys are doing great jobs out there. A lot of different experience levels. Maybe all been with us for 30 plus years, and some of you are brand new. So would love to lean on those of you that have been doing this for quite a bit and see your experiences as well. So hopefully this will be a good topic of conversation. So in the next slide, really, this is kind of the vocab lesson, if you will. So we all know that having a top-notch product or service doesn't automatically, guarantee success. It comes from being able to, communicate why you are the best choice for your customer, in a way that genuinely connects with them. i.e. kind of your ideal customer. So this is really where your unique value proposition, I'm going to say UVP from here on out because that's just a mouthful for me, and strategic positioning statements come in. So on the screen, it says your UVP, I'm sorry, it does not, is a clear, concise statement that explains why your product, service, or company stands out from the competition. Basically, why are you unique? And then strategic positioning is how you differentiate your brand from competitors, how you shape customer perception so that they see you as the top choice when they need daylighting or ventilation. So first little quick check-in, and you can use the little reaction button or unmute yourselves or throw it in the chat. But just to get a gauge, is this like not new for everybody? Have y'all heard this before? You feel like you can totally, list your UVP and positioning statements? If so, if you want to use the reaction button, you can put a little heart, in the box there. And then if it's kind of new, you haven't really heard it before, or, maybe you want to brush up on some stuff, you can throw a thumbs up in there, or again, chats, whatever works. But just kind of want to see what people are thinking so far.
And if anybody's even surprised at Chat GPT's, like, what a great summary from Chat GPT. And, this isn't influenced by us.
Right.
It's influenced by what we do and how the product stands out. So
exactly. And it was not a leading question that was asked. I literally just said, what do you know between the two? Didn't frame it either way. So, okay. Awesome. See some thumbs up in there. So appreciate that. So, the reality is, whether we realize it or not, whether we do it intentionally or not, we're constantly positioning our business. Every interaction, from conversations, emails, blog posts, what we put up on our website, it shapes how customers perceive us. And with every touch point, customers are comparing their options and making decisions. So really the question is, are you actively guiding that perception to highlight your value, like why they should choose you over competitors, or are you leaving it to chance? So next thing we're going to kind of dig into is going to be, imagine if instead of struggling to provide, to prove your value day in and day out with every customer like a battle, you actually attracted customers who already got it, who saw the worth of what you offer. They didn't push back on price and were genuinely excited to buy from you. That's what happens when we get these things kind of dialed in. You get to attract your ideal customer. So that's where that ideal customer piece comes into that. And I love little, I can't think of his name, but that was a fun TV show.
Simpsons.
Thank you. Yeah. No. This was it was the spinoff. This was
Futurama.
Thank you, Futurama. So a little dude there. Anyway, so let's talk about how to attract your ideal customer, because that would be so much more fun. Yeah. So next slide. This is kind of tongue in cheek. Totally get that, but really, not every person out there is your customer, right? So second kind of touch point. Would you all agree with that statement? Thumbs up for yes, throw it in the chat, unmute yourself. Like, do you want to get in front of every single human being on the planet, or are there some people out there that just aren't ours? And I don't know if Ziggy's on. I know that Rachel's on, but Ziggy actually had a great conversation, or made a great point when we were speaking last, that he's back in the field a lot more recently, and is basically with customers like, hey, if this isn't the right fit, like, you're not my customer, it's okay. So thoughts?
Yes, he's had to be in the field, so he can't be here, but I'm here, and absolutely correct. Like, yes, we want as many people as possible, but there are those who are just not our customers.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rachel. So
I was going to say, Jennifer, we do the same thing. I like retracting ourselves in this case, because it's kind of like you're breaking up with the customer, and they, it's not us, it's you, and they end up kind of chasing you down. But we explain to them, like Ziggy said, we're, people who choose our company and our product want it done right, and they want it done, in a way that gives them peace of mind in the future. And we admit there's other types. So I really like this slide. It's a nice way to encapsulate that. We use the Ben Franklin statement too. The sweetness of low prices forgotten long after the pain of poor quality remains.
Absolutely. That's another
That's a great
good
quote.
one. That's a great one.
That's a
I'll
good
find
one.
that and throw that up as well. Yeah. This was the fun little, kind of tongue in cheek one that I think of this like old timey hardware stores or, things like that for sure. But it actually has a name. It's called the Iron Triangle of Service, which I didn't know before researching this. Was kind of fun. But I mean, in all reality, customers probably want, all three things, but when pushed, they're going to prioritize one, maybe two. So it's all about finding and attracting those that prioritize what you prioritize. So how do we get them to call us? How do we get them to raise their hand and say, hey, I saw your marketing, I saw your ad, I saw your email, I saw your blog post. How do we attract our ideal customer? So that's kind of the next slide. And again, not a ton of bullet points on this slide. Again, more dialogue, please. How do you communicate that? Like, what are some things that we can tweak to make sure that we're facing the customer with what we want them to know about us? And so they say, ooh, that resonates. How do we work together? Where are some places that you guys can interject your unique value proposition?
I think it might be beneficial just to remember that a lot of times sales happen because they like you, and they often know about the product and they're coming and you're explaining things, they're asking questions, but oftentimes it's your clarity and confidence that you are portraying or get that aura you're giving off, or however you want to say it. Us and just reiterating to them that you're going to be here, you're going to take care of them. That oftentimes that's helped with us winning over a competition. That we've been here 30 years and you've got a lifetime warranty on leaks. Anything you need, you give us a call, we got your back. And they're like, wow, yeah, let's do that.
Absolutely. How do you
just remembering not to sell yourself short there?
Oh, absolutely. How do you communicate that if they didn't come to? Well, here's another question. I can ask it this way: how are most of your customers finding you?
For me,
it through
personally?
Sure. Yeah. Is it through lead gen? Is it through referrals? Did they say that they found you online? Like, how, before you kind of get in the home or get on the phone and be able to be that friendly, awesome expert, how are they finding you?
A great
Catherine?
many of ours are word of mouth, which is amazing, but I understand that's not always possible if you're a newer dealer. Next to word of mouth would be lead generation.
Okay. Awesome. Good. Yeah. And then Catherine says the same thing, online, previous customers. So yeah, we get, I have never been in an industry or in a company before, or with a bunch of companies, that the repeat and referral is so amazingly strong. And that's, again, just a huge testament to the quality of the product, the quality of the service that you guys provide. So leveraging, your 5-star reviews, your testimonials, and incorporating, that type of feeling and vibe, into every piece of content, that you put out for, your online marketing, for your blogs, things of that nature. What are maybe some subtle ways that you could filter out price shoppers before you spend too much time on them? Does anybody have kind of a good spidey sense way to go, you're not worth a 4-hour demonstration?
When the first question is price.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times, just speak from our experience, when people are just drilling you for a price on the phone and they don't even want the in-home visit, we explain to them this isn't a cookie cutter product, but if they just demand a price, that's usually a good gauge. That's not our customer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Anybody else that has a thought on that one?
Catherine had in the chat the part of the city that they're calling from.
Do you have different demographics that may be more price sensitive than others?
Yeah, and Steve has a good comment. I always push that they not only get to the best product in the industry, but the quality of our work, liability, warranty, experience you also get from him. It's great positioning.
Absolutely.
That's that peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Absolutely. Oh, fantastic. So these are things that, we can kind of look at maybe with a different lens, going forward, maybe update a little tweaking to your sitelets to reflect, your personality, speak to why you are the right choice, local expert in the area. Um, the marketing that Tim and his team puts out are fabulous, but we can use them as springboards. You can personalize the messaging to fit your local flair, your local personality, videos, blogs, engaging email content, all of the things that, your customers may see, online. They're going to go, ooh, that resonates. And you should be able to start filtering down and attracting more, of your ideal customers and filtering out maybe some of those that are like, they're not going to be cheap and I want cheap. So helpful as far as a first step as attracting everybody. Any other questions about that, or anybody want another concern? 1, 2, 3. No. Okay. So we'll go on to the next slide. So we talked about getting, them to call. And so now let's talk about what happens if you're actually in front of a customer and they're like, they got through my web of value. They want it cheaper. But, it happens. So even if you've done a great job attracting the right customers, there's still times that you find yourself sitting across from someone who isn't quite the ideal fit. I've been in homes, I've done presentations, I've nailed it. I showed beautiful before and after pictures. I shared testimonials. I walked them through the benefits. I thought I did all the tie downs. I answered their questions with confidence. I was totally in sync with them. They loved me. I loved them. Their dog was great. And then I got to revealing the price and silence, awkward pause, or worse. Oh, that sounds great, but I need it cheaper. So I'm sure I'm not alone in that. Yeah. Has anybody else had that experience? You can throw a thumbs up or commiserate with me a little bit. Otherwise, I'm the only person I'm going to feel bad.
I'll commiserate with you. I've had that happen to me.
You are not alone.
So absolutely. So breaking it down, like where did we lose them? When customers hesitate, they push back on price, and say, I need to think about it. It's usually not an us thing. It usually means that we missed an opportunity to build value somewhere along the way. So it's not usually because they can't afford it, if we've done our messaging correctly. It's because we haven't really given them the right value points. We haven't truly tied into what makes them, see and feel the difference. So this is kind of where positioning statements come in. We can go on to the next slide. We're able to use kind of that value positioning, emotional connection, and expert guidance. We're not just another product, we're the best in the category. So talking about our sales process, we have these fabulous 6 steps. And give me 1 second, my thing is sorry, technical glitch here. It's the first one. We have our great sales process, and it's not meant to be, just a feature dump. There's a lot of thought that goes into this. And so during, the sales process, what are some ways that you are using value positioning, whether, again, you realize it or not, during that presentation to avoid the dreaded, can you do it cheaper question? So again, there's no right answer here. It's just collaboration. So like where during the process are you using maybe some specific language or some specific examples, maybe some sales tools, photos, things like that? Like jump on in. Who's got what? We got Steve is good in the chat. When they ask, I need to think about it. I like to ask exactly what it is they need to think about, answer their question with a question. That is good. We can take it step by step and trust and rapport. Like how you guys introduce yourselves as, how do you introduce your company? How do you introduce your product when you're kind of in the home or on the phone? Yes, they've seen your ad and what have you, but do you have a specific tagline or phrase or something, kind of like your elevator pitch, if you will, where you can start with that trust and rapport in the home to start getting that sales process off on the right foot.
Probably showing up on time and introducing yourself and your company and what you're here to do.
Absolutely. That also comes in from a positioning standpoint, having a clean shirt on, showing up in a van that's been washed, that doesn't have, broken windshields and, graffiti all over it. Those are very subtle ways to project, that you are not lowbrow. Rachel's got her hand up.
Yep.
We've heard from many customers that they simply went with us because we answered the phone.
Amazing.
So if you're talking
Amen
about
to that, Rachel. Amen.
and answer, it's our first contact. Answer the phone and speak respectfully, speak up, speak clearly, and be friendly. To me, that's trust and rapport at our first step.
Love that.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
And yeah, a mutual agreement. I mean, this is a piece of the process that I think is the hardest to teach, salespeople. I also think it's the hardest to execute, in the home. But mutual agreement, just really making sure that, you position yourself as that expert. You have a process you're going to follow. You're super thorough, and getting their buy-in. Does anybody have any tips or tricks within that piece of the puzzle? And then reading the chat, Jesse says, we heavily leverage our time in the business, licensure, insurance, employees are not subs, brick and mortar business, all proof that we are not a fly-by-night company and have full-time staff available at all times, not just a guy in a truck, hopefully picking up his cell phone. Yeah, fantastic.
I love this comment.
I'll chime in.
Yeah.
In here.
Yeah.
And follow up on what Carrie said. In that I was on an estimate yesterday. She had 3 True Lights installed 12, 13 years ago. And she said the guy told me at the time it was a lifetime warranty, which obviously I jumped in and said, well, that warranty is only as good as the company is. And they're gone, they've been gone forever. So, you got to be afraid of these lifetime warranties because we all know, what's going to last a lifetime?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point, Brad.
So, when you tell them 10 years, it seems reasonable then, 10 years is a long time, but it's not a lifetime.
Right.
Steve is quoting your quote, Jen. They don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care.
Absolutely.
Love that. That's one of Jen's all-time favorites. One
of my absolute favorites. And yeah, to me, that falls into kind of, number 3, which is, near and dear to, again, I think that's the second hardest, piece of the sales process to really teach and get good at, because asking questions is it's a hard skill to learn, because a lot of people aren't comfortable in silence. They want to be the one talking, and they're not as comfortable asking open-ended questions, leaving that room for pause. So, but that's how you show how much you care, by getting them to speak about, their pain points, things like that. So Brad and I had a conversation, with, one of his salespeople specifically about this when we first met. Who else has maybe some discovery and pain point words of advice? How do we uncover why they really called us out? I'll start with one. I had Randy from Solatube Home here in San Diego. I kind of sat down and interviewed him as I was putting these slides together. And his favorite question during discovery is, so what are you hoping to accomplish here? And that really leads into them saying, oh, well, it's dark. Okay, well, but why does that matter? Tell me more, about that. Well, I try and do, it's a bathroom. I try and do, my makeup in here, and I can't see anything. And I get outside and I look like, a clown. I thought I put on blue eyeshadow and I have bright green, something of that nature. So, what's the real pain point that they have? And I'm sure somebody else can say that much better than I just did, because y'all do it every day.
And Beth just put in the chat too, without discovery, you're just pushing product. Like then you're not solving problems, you're just pushing products. Jesse has some good questions. How do you use the space? What kind of light do you need? What's your overall general lighting or specific task lighting? Great questions.
Absolutely. Because that then is going to go into, the more information you have about what they're looking for, then that gives you an idea. Okay, do they need, one 10-inch? Do they need, 2 10-inches? Do they need a 14-inch? So all this discovery is just, ammo in your chamber to help really solve their problem effectively.
Love it.
Hey,
I was
Jen,
going to say,
oops, go ahead.
oh, sorry. The other side of that is I have a lot of chatty customers that offer up all of this information, but this may help somebody. As I was training a previous salesperson, they oftentimes didn't actually listen. So just remembering to listen and not be in your head about your own sales pitch and what you're trying to accomplish, but actually address their specific needs that you are trying to discover, and then adapt to that. And oftentimes, in Ziggy's case, if he was here, he would probably say something to the effect, it's so easy to upsell at that point if you're listening, because they often give you more problems than they maybe end up wanting to have. That they don't want to have that many Solatubes, right? But he upsells easily because they share that information after going through that discovery phase.
Absolutely.
But he's listening, and that
active listening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Quick question, actually, for anybody. So one of the things that I've always done, kind of at RBA and what have you, and they're doing here at Solatube Home now, is kind of an intake form, if you will, like an in-home sheet of paper. You can preload it with your discovery questions. You can preload it with a whole bunch of different things. But who's actually putting pen to paper when you're doing discovery? So that way you are being forced to active listen. The consumer then sees you, taking note, writing down what they're saying. How does that make you feel as a customer when someone is writing down what you're saying? Does that give you a better sense of, oh, they get it, they're going to hear me? I always think of, like, I used to work in the restaurant industry, and it kills me when I go to go out to eat for lunch or dinner, and the waitress or waiter just listens to our order. And I'm like, something's going to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong. But if they write it down, I'm like, it's going to come out right. So does anybody else use like an intake form, or what is a tool to help you during that discovery process?
And we do have a new one from Solatube Home that we can also share when we post the recording as well.
Yeah, it's
I was going to say,
questions.
Jennifer, we don't, a lot of our sales we close over the phone. So at least there, one thing we really try to do is do a lot of echoing back to the customer. So even though they can't see us writing down, when you repeat back to them, okay, so it sounds like your real problem is X, or the area you really want to brighten up is Y, at least they're hearing that resonate. They know you're not doing other things at the time. So that definitely helps us.
Absolutely.
Love that.
That's fantastic. Good. So I think, we've got a lot of good stuff in the chat, chat with, just in general.
Could I ask a question here?
Yeah.
Just I'm new into selling through this. Just advice on just putting the customer at ease, because the home is their most valuable investment. We're going to be cutting holes in their ceiling, into their roof. It seems to me that's one of the most important things when the whole part of the engagement is that we're professional. We've done this before. We have a whole team behind us, but I'd love to hear any comments on how the more experienced dealers have, what they do to kind of ease that anxiety, because I've only been on a few calls, but I could tell, there's a lot of like, what are they doing? What is happening here? You kind of following you a little closely by you and stuff. And it's all gone well because Chris is so competent and so confident when low key about how he handles the business. But I just would love to hear any ideas about that level of just putting that customer at ease early on in the process, so they know, okay, these people are going to take care of my home. They got a good product. They seem nice. And then we're going into the discovery process. That's next. But any thoughts? Anybody have
Love
anything on that?
And if we could just quickly introduce, this is Todd Wilson. Todd and his son, Chris Wilson, are servicing the Southern Oregon around the Medford area. So welcoming them into the Solatube network while everybody thinks of their responses for Todd. They were just out for university 2 weeks ago. That last week.
Last week.
Last week. Holy cow. Yeah. So welcome to them. But Sherry in the comments said warranty. She talks about warranty.
Fran,
Any other advice for Todd?
So Fran has a vocabulary point for you, Todd. So it's an access. It's not a hole. Just choosing choosing that language to be more friendly in general. Rachel reinforced the positive. We don't make any structural changes. The flashing is solid. Prefab unit, etc. Kate's popped in the chat. She's followed along with installers on jobs and find that as they're doing things, they're just giving the customer an overview of what's going to be done along the way and why. And that goes, a long way. It's kind of I would think of it as kind of creating a mutual agreement for your installation process, so they get to, Chris gets to the home. This is what's going to happen today. I'm going to do this first, this second, this third, give them kind of an overview of what you're doing, in their home, on their roof. And just inviting them, to ask any questions up front, that they may be uneasy about.
Yeah, great feedback.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And
good comments.
Yeah, good comment, Sharon. Yeah, talking about it on the phone, during the phone piece of it. So if you're selling over the phone first before doing like an FSR appointment, talking about the process on the phone, it helps support it in the home, because then it's sequential. They're hearing it on the phone, they're hearing it in the home when the CIC gets there. It said the same thing, so there's continuity, there's trust.
Jesse has a great comment, and I've loved and laughed at it, but acknowledge their concern. We share it. We are expert roof surgeons. Don't choose a surgeon by the cheapest price. That's a recipe for disaster. That's great, Jesse.
I'm totally stealing that.
That's the best line of the year right there.
Love it.
Roof
Totally
surgeons.
Exactly. And the next slide, this may help as well a little bit. As you're kind of doing some brainstorming, I have a whole giant exercise all about kind of creating your UVP. It's not really webinar friendly. If you want to work through it, let me know, let John know, we'll do it with you. But basically this is kind of the first piece of it. So as you are thinking about, I don't really know what's unique, we're just somebody that sells Solatube. That's not true. Like, really brainstorm, why are you in business? Why did you choose Solatube? These are a couple questions that you can, start the brainstorming process with. I have about 30 more. If you have a sales team, ask them. If you have FSRs that go out in the home and they're talking to customers daily, talk to them. Distill your list down into maybe your tippy top 3 or 4 compelling, unique differentiators. But again, not ones that you think sound good on paper. Think about your customers. Think about your ideal customer. What would they say, is the most important reason that they chose you? And start weaving that into every aspect of your business, your website, your About Us page, in your emails, incorporate them into your sales conversations, et cetera, et cetera. So everybody has their unique differentiators. It's just maybe polishing them up a little bit, putting a little more thought, into them, because y'all are experts at what you do. You're all fantastic business owners and your customers love you.
You just have to remember to keep promoting yourselves.
Exactly.
Don't be shy to call out what you do really, really well.
Exactly. So the last slide is kind of I've got 2 more and I promise we'll be done. So really putting it all together, differentiate from your competitors, be crystal clear about why you're different and better than low-cost competitors. It is okay to brag on yourselves. You're not being pushy. You're not being braggadocious. You're just helping your true customers find you easier. You're going to want to use strong positioning statements, in the home. So instead of listing features, the right vendor technology, nobody knows what that is. What does it mean to the customer? Making sure that you're connecting emotionally and helping them, visualize the impact of what you offer on their life, both short-term and long-term. When we're talking about warranty, peace of mind, things of that nature. And again, being the expert, selling with confidence. If a customer fully understands the value, they'll see the investment, not just the price tag.
Love
I
it.
kind of have 2 quotes of the day. This next slide is, one more back, is really what it boils down to. If you can't or don't differentiate your products and services, your customers will do it for you. And every single time they're going to choose price. Because if they don't see the value or the difference between why Solatube over why a competitor, or why you versus somebody who is trucking the truck and maybe gone, next week, you're leaving them no choice but to compare you on price. Awesome.
Love it.
Last slide, just to kind of a reminder. It's out there. Like I said, it's all the information, the differentiators. We have internet, customers are looking, up why Solatube. So they're out there, but I'll give you one little thing. If you want me to send you the whole report, I can. It's also going to be attached as a handout, if you will, to this when we put it up on Brand Folder. But one thing I noticed within even the ChatGPT is it's really technical, like your sitelets and whatnot, our websites. This is a really technical product when you look at it at face value. So if you think of yourselves as maybe being the translator, translate Solatube technical speak into consumer, what it means for them, speak. That's really where the secret sauce, kind of lies, and how you can really help them see why our tubing, why our, domes are just that much better. It's not interchangeable. So that's my 2 cents on the ChatGPT. But anybody have any last questions or anything else of that nature? Otherwise,
Steve says you pay for
Jen,
what you get.
yeah, absolutely.
Jen, I have a question.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago on our last one, we talked about the 99.9% specular reflectance that Velux claims to have. Can we follow up with that in any way? Because they're still putting it out there. And when I say follow up, I mean in plain language to our customer.
Yeah, I know that Jen and Todd are working on comparative analysis, like with light meters and UV meters, and really trying to get super technical into that. We'll get that out as soon as we have it, and then we'll be able to start doing some messaging around how to talk about that in the home for sure.
Well, and I think too, like most of us have seen that side-by-side comparison. And so, referring back to that is always helpful. And we have that great video from Jeff at Triple Peaks, actually. But yeah, we can definitely, I think Jen and Todd are working on the technical side of it, but
Right.
to Jen's point, how do you be the translator in there? It's like, look, I've seen these things side by side, and they don't compare, and anybody can put out marketing,
Right.
but we actually put out performance.
Yeah. Words are words. Before and after pictures, side by side pictures. So another little push for that. If y'all have videos, pictures, please send them. We're kind of creating a repository, if you will, of before and after pictures that are just, oh my gosh, I totally get it. I can see it. For those of you that are pulling out, Velux tubes and putting in Solatubes, before and after pictures for that. Anything you have, send it over to John and I. We would love to collect it, and then we'll put those up on Brand Folder so that you guys can, start creating your arsenal. Especially for Todd and Chris, they're relatively new to the, to the game. They don't have, 20 years worth of before and after photos. So anything that we can share would be super, super helpful. So just a last little plea for that. Awesome.
Yeah,
Jen,
Jen.
also in marketing. Oh, Jennifer Delaney, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, thank you, Jen, for putting that out there. Those pictures and some of the stuff that you guys put in the chats last time were awesome. And again, so the more of those that we can get, Todd and I can also include those in the competitive analysis presentation.
Perfect.
Sorry, Tim.
Oh, that's all right. I just want to mention, we're going back down the road of highest performance with Spectra with Jennifer. How do you say that exactly? Highest performance regarding brightness of the product. We're going back down that road, and we're going to start promoting that more and more as well. Highest performance guarantee.
The spectral reflectivity, and
Oh,
then
so
we'll explain exactly what that means, because it's not reflected coming down the tube. You only get spectral reflectance if you test something. So we'll explain all that technology.
But that's coming down the pike as well.
Yeah, very
Absolutely.
soon.
But yeah, and that's where, John and I, reach out if you guys want to brainstorm, some translations. That's what we're here for. So we want to put it into your words that make sense in your vernacular, because what may work in Denver may not work in New York, and vice versa. So it is semi-individualized as well. So cool. And I know we are running late. I appreciate all the discussion. I'm super, super thrilled. But I guess we'll throw it to John to chat a little bit about a Q1 promo check-in.
Yeah, so we're in March now. So the last month of Q1, which is the last month of our Q1 promotion. So we were wondering, how's the bundling going with everyone? And where's everyone finding success? If anyone wants to share, we'd love to hear it. No, there's been some weather challenges and all that stuff, but yeah, we're really curious to hear on how everything's going with it.
Any bundle muscle flexing that anybody wants to brag about? We've had a lot of great bundle stories over the past several months. There must be some out there. New material.
Right?
Anybody?
Well, I'll pop one in. We mentioned it at a university last week, and I don't know if we ever mentioned it on a webinar at all. And I forget where it came from. I apologize. But essentially, I think it was actually Brian out in Shasta, was saying that, he has a number of people that, I could do one here, but I'm just going to go with one today. Great, no worries, write it up, sell the unit. And then building in time, when you're doing the installation, to, put that one tube in, making sure, whoever's installing it knows, well, they were thinking about a second one here or there. So when you're done installing, pause, bring the, customer over. Oh my gosh, do you love it? This is amazing. Hey, I think, you were talking about maybe putting one in here. I've got time. I've got one on the truck. Do you want to just do it now versus, us coming back out, 6 months from now? So don't take that first one as the only, option. Like, give them space to change their mind, to put another one or two in once they've seen it, because that typically is the biggest tipping point.
Absolutely. Great. Well, yeah, and just a reminder, get those invoices in by Tuesday, March 11th next week. And yeah, we'll get those credits processed for you.
Good deal. Right. I think we're going over to Kate or Tim today.
Oh, that's for Tim.
It's for Tim. Sorry, yeah. Tim.
That's all right, Jen. Jen, great job, by the way. Excellent job. That was a good discussion. Let's jump into it. I'm Tim. I'm the Director of Marketing. I'm going to talk a little bit about the campaigns that are coming up. This is the Q2. That's April through June. The daylighting campaign is Light with Style. Again, going down the benefits of natural light. We're going to be talking about that. And then the ventilation is Comfort Made Easy. Feel the difference. And of course, we're going to do some kind of pre-season sale for ventilation if the weather is good. I know that for our company stores, we're going to be doing the pre-season and the daylighting Light with Style. So let's go on to the next campaign. A little reminder, on April 1st, we will be making a new web page go live on solatube.com. It'll be a landing page, and of course, All the leads that come through here go straight out to our dealers in real time, so they should be showing up. So be watching for those. Hopefully, we can generate a lot of leads. There's also a disclaimer for some dealers that don't want to participate, but I hope you do participate. We're going to talk, Kate is going to talk a little bit about how we came up with the save $300 now and 30% later. So she'll talk a little bit about that. But the landing page will go up, and also a little reminder for you guys as well. On your website on April 1st, make sure you update your promo bar, that little bar at the very top. I don't know, Jen, you could hover above that promo bar, or Carrie, right there, the little promo bar. We want to update that promo bar, and then also the image as well on your promotions page for the light with style and the ventilation as well. So just a couple of reminders on that, and I'm going to pass it over to Kate because she helped develop this campaign. And we're also running this same campaign over at Solatube Home as well.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good to see you. If you don't know me, for some reason, I'm Kate and I am the marketing manager for Solatube Home. I see some familiar faces from university, so glad to see that. All right, so this campaign, first of all, I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but just beautiful. And we're so excited to give you guys kind of like some fresh content and a fresh new look. So kind of back on the theme of what was discussed about kind of like care, and we kind of put a mixture together between like care and functionality. So like function and aesthetic. So light with style, we're providing beautiful natural light because they have a need in their home. They have dark spaces, they need more light, but also with style. You know, there's a beautiful aesthetic. We're improving the look and feel of their home. So that was kind of the idea behind these new ads. And of course, we're kind of continuing with the bundle deal. So save $300 now, save 30% later. Of course, there's a little disclaimer at the bottom there. You know, they have to buy 3 products to get the $300 off, and however you want to spin that bundle is kind of up to you. But, and then of course, saving 30% later has to do with the tax credit. So in that disclaimer, it says 30% tax credit applied to solar powered products. So that was kind of the idea behind this ad. And then if we go to the next one. So these ventilation assets are still playing on kind of the feel and trying to trigger maybe a more emotional reaction from the customer. They do have a need. Their home is hot. They want to feel cooler and more comfortable in their home. Of course, this is more triggered towards, or not triggered, geared towards attic and garage fan and things like that. But just kind of talking about comfort and comfort made easy. There's kind of like an ease and convenience of us coming and installing these products. It's a very simple process, kind of a nod to that, but also, you know, centered around family and just feeling better in your home. And then the next ventilation campaign, we wanted to still provide you guys a kind of like, ouch, it's hot, or like prepare for the summer type of campaign. So we have pre-season ventilation sale. You know, you could tell from the colors, it's more of like an urgent, this is more focused just on need of the customer. So beat the heat with our pre-season promotion. And then again, that promotion and that deal comes across all of these ads. So yeah, just kind of giving you guys some options to play with here.
And we don't want to forget about ClimateSense.
Yes. Do not forget about ClimateSense.
ClimateSense came out last year. If anybody needs a refresher on ClimateSense, feel free to reach out to Jen, John, or myself. But it's a great option for people who just want to extend the runtime of the fan.
Run at night technology.
Yeah.
Run at
And
night
yeah.
technology.
Another differentiator.
Another differentiator.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. I get a lot of comments that I see on our Facebook ads and whatnot, and they're saying like, "Oh, well, it just runs during the day," and things like that. But then I get to comment back and say, "Oh, we have a run at night feature," and I have some kind of like new creative also as far as like Facebook ad videos and whatnot, kind of nodding to the ClimateSense as well. So really just taking in all the things that we're seeing from customers, questions, needs, and stuff, and trying to implement it into this advertisement for you guys.
And we do have the link to the sell sheet. I'm trying to copy it into the chat. But I think because I'm presenting, it's not really enabling me to do it. I'm not sure what it's going to put in the chat. So if Jen or John, I'm not going to take that risk.
No worries. But again, everything is up on Brandfolder, and we can get you those links and what happened. I'll try and throw it in the chat right now. And then one little nod, if we go back, can you go back one slide, just 3 seconds? I promise it won't be long.
Maybe.
The very bottom, you have the smart, efficient upgrade, free consultations, installation and product warranties. Those are value statements. So this is where, again, you can customize. If those 3 don't speak your language, customize them, make them yours. So, but that's what they're there for, is to give I'm drawing in customers that are wanting smart, efficient upgrades. I'm drawing in customers that, free consultation, warranties. But again, if you have different ones that maybe speak better to your specific business, customize it.
Right. Okay. So should we go on to email templates?
Again, email templates. Kate did a great job in the creative. And so we do have a lot of email templates available to you. Now, these actually have the offer baked into the graphics, but there are some other email templates that if you guys don't want to send out the offer within the template, then you could also remove the offer as well. So these are going to be available come April 1st, if not sooner.
And Tim, Fran just asked the question, are these going to be in Brandfolder today?
All the graphic or all the ads and all the digital ads as well. We forgot to mention the digital ads as well. They will be in Brandfolder. As a matter of fact, I think Mel chimed in. I think they're all up on Brandfolder right now.
Love it.
And Mel, if you could chime in if you would like to make a comment.
Kate said they're either today or tomorrow.
Finding my mute button. They're there. I think they just need to be put on finished up, like loading. But yes, everything's there. I mean, that would be a good question for Kate, because I was working with her last week on that.
Yeah, so we do have some stuff loaded up, but I kind of just have to make it live. So definitely you'll see that stuff most likely by the end of today.
Thanks, Kate.
Perfect.
So get the emails out to your customer come April 1st. And, and the big thing is take advantage of that pre-season solar attic fan and garage fan. We always love those sales coming early for ventilation.
Should we move on to Earth Day, Tim?
Yeah, let's do an Earth Day. Now, you guys, typically and traditionally, we always do some type of an Earth Day campaign for the whole month of April. This year, we thought we should mix it up a little bit. At Solatube Home, we're going to be doing kind of an Earth Week kind of flash sale. So instead of taking up the entire month of April on Earth Day, we're going to be sending some posts out through social media. We'll be sending out emails out to our customer base about Earth Day. And we're going to try to sweeten it up with something, maybe some free night lights. We're not exactly sure what that sweetener is going to be, but just something talking about Earth Day. And these templates also will be in Create and Send as well to send out. And the graphic will be also on Brandfolder as well. So you guys could make your own post on your social media as well.
Love it. All right. Thanks, Tim.
Hey, can I ask feedback? What do people think about the campaign? you guys' thoughts about the campaign moving in the direction of more of a lifestyle type rather than the technology type? And
If you want to think about it and shoot off
put
comments to
thumbs
Jennifer.
up if there's any thumbs up, or
Here we go.
Okay. Well, let's send us your feedback on that. I know we're almost at time, so we're gonna just move forward through the last couple things, but important for everybody on this webinar, we are adding a sweetener to the Q2 promotion. So for March, as you order your inventory for the April promotion, we are offering free nightlights. So March, April, and May, if you look at the table that we put together here based on your price level, if you order at price level 6.0, if you order 5 starter kits or 5 kits in general, you will receive 5 free nightlights. So please make sure that when you do place your orders, as soon as you place it, forward that copy, your email confirmation, forward it over to Jen, John, myself, and then we'll get customer care to add on the free nightlights. So you don't put them on your order, we add them to your order at no charge. So more free stuff. So hopefully that will also help incentivize and push that Q2 promotion for save 300 now and save 30% later. Jen, should we go back to your second quote?
Yeah, so second quote of the day, I am a big Walt Disney fan, super brilliant. But basically, to be successful, you must be unique. You must be so different that if people want what you have, they must come to you to get it. So speaks completely into, speaking that truth, if you will, about who you are, why you're in business. They can't get it from somebody else. So be unique. Yeah. Lean into that.
Be unique. Okay. Thank you for that. And then before we leave today, we just wanted to let you guys know that Jeff and Angie at Triple Peaks in Cleveland had a house fire. They were actually at a home show when their house caught on fire and they lost their home. And so we've spoken with them and they've said that it's okay to share it with the rest of the network. We all want to take care of each other. There is a Facebook, it was on Facebook, but I've given the link here and it will also be in the link to the recording on Brandfolder. They are definitely going through a tough time. And so there is a fundraiser. So I know that this says it's meal train, but when you go to the page, there's actually a space for some donations. So our hearts go out to them. It's been a very tough time for them. So if any of you want to help support your fellow dealer, I know that they would greatly appreciate it. Jeff's been on these been on our webinars. I don't see him today, but we just want everybody to keep them in their thoughts and their prayers. Tough times for them right now.
Yeah. Then I just put the link in the chat as well.
Oh, thank you, Jen. Perfect. Okay. And then lastly, just some housekeeping items. So your February buy 2, get the 3rd half off. Get those over to Jen and John by next week so that we can get those credits processed. And just as a reminder, we had our first Bright Minds last month and everybody really enjoyed that. So we're continuing that. Bright Minds will be on Friday, March 21st, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. So different day, different time than coffee. And then our April coffee and conversation will be Thursday the 3rd, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern with that. So that's everything that we have for you guys today. We appreciate everybody joining. Yep.
Hey, Carrie, I got one last thing I wanted to mention.
Yep, we're still here.
To finish the year or to finish the month strong, we did develop some more digital assets for the Live Right campaign. It's more of an awareness play for digital, and I'm putting them down in I just put them in the chat, and I'm going to put the link to them on Brandfolder as well. So they could find them on Brandfolder, but there are 3 new digital campaigns for the Live Right, and they're really nice as well.
Love that.
So we can end the month really strong. If you guys could push all of these out through social media, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. And then
Thanks,
also
Jen.
just want to highlight that there are a good chunk, I want to say 6 new videos that Kate and Mel and team have been putting into the brand folder as well. So some really neat little shorts that you can use for, Facebook, Instagrams, send them out as blogs, what have you. But keep checking those brand folders because we are rocking and rolling with some great content.
Yeah.
Yeah, kudos to the marketing team. They've been pushing out a
Well,
lot of really great stuff this year.
It's Mel, it's Kate, it's Janan. They're doing a
Thank you,
great
Kate.
job. So
Thank you, Mel. Thanks,
um,
Janan.
I really love the new campaign that's been pushed out, and I really love the Live Bright, these new digital ads. We're going to be running those ourselves as well. So for our awareness campaign digitally here for Solatube Home.
Yeah.
So
Very nice.
great job, everybody.
Yeah. And
All
just a
right.
reminder, if there's something that you want to see or want to customize, reach out to John and I. We can facilitate that.
Yeah. But let us know. We're going to hang out here for a few minutes. That's all that we have prepared for everybody, but certainly welcome any additional conversation, feedback, input, thoughts.
Yeah, turn that recording off, Carrie, so everybody talks.
Oh, you guys trick me into this every time, and then we miss the good stuff. So speak now. Share your stories. But I love Catherine's comment in chat. Most of our customers are women, so lifestyle is good. So yeah, I think marketing's really nailed this campaign. Other thoughts? Anybody want to talk about what makes them unique? Share with others. And Cheryl, you guys are going to be chatty as soon as I turn this off. All right. Well, since we're 9:04, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, but we are going to hang out here and chat with anybody who wants to continue the conversation.
Thank you, guys. I was just going to say thank